Damn it, Mince. Should I stay? Wait, is this a your choices really matter moment? What if I hit no? Like, what happens here? So they've left. I guess Mince wasn't able to convince her. Looks like I'm heading back to Master earlier than expected. Really a damn sham. Are you heading home after this? Yeah, not looking forward to it. I'll back you up. I'm sure Master doesn't need me immediately. It's not like it's going to be a deadly fight, just an uncomfortable family reunion. And you wouldn't prefer a deadly fight? You got me. It's a shame about Oriana and her kid. Not much else we can do. That whole thing was a long shot. They weren't sure what's even in the workshop. Maybe they'll find another way. I can only hope so. Oh shit! Wait, that is the end! Undeterred by the dangers that awaited, Oriana continued the expedition into the workshop for her daughter. Determination can only carry one so far, and she met her end against the workshop. Oh, I got the bad ending. Tower pushed himself to his limits to make up for their lack of numbers. He made his final stand against the Saltsworn at the gates of the workshop, buying enough time for the rest to enter. He would never know it was futile. You did it! You won! Pomelo returned to his home on the lake and found himself at the forefront of the Crescent Civil War. Pomelo would become respected amongst the lake folk from his efforts to help his clan, but his inventions never caught on. We did it, save the Crescent JPEG. Lindros traveled to his master's new abode on the Crescent. What dark experiments might be performed behind those closed doors were the talk of many. Though Lindros himself wouldn't be seen again. Oh fuck, Lindros died. Lindros was part of the experiment. Mince returned with Ellery back to the mainland and remained her staunchest supporter in the ensuing rebellion. He would quickly become a prime target for royalist forces and was found dead tasting his stew, which had been poisoned. Gecko made her name in the green tide, surviving countless dangers through luck and grit. She became a famed adventurer. That's that 105 luck growth, baby. Not content with just the Crescent, Gecko set out for distant lands and created a new tale. Yo, when are we getting Cerulean Crescent Gaiden, the Gecko tales? Riker's courage found him great fame in the war against the Green Tide, but his recklessness would never be tempered. During the peak of his fame, he led a foolhardy expedition deeper into the Crescent, from which only his horse returned. Yo, horse moment, horse caving. After making an adventurer's fortune, Raylan knew it was time to quit this deadly profession and bought a nice farm on the Crescent. The new Civil War led to her early demise as she defended her home against marauders. Not knowing the definition of a losing battle, Yvette joined Oriana's ill-fated expedition. She was the first to fall, being run down by Saltsworn cavalry. The Yvette going out in a blaze of glory wasn't a bad way to go. I mean, she's super bulky though. That's fucking ludonarrative dissonance. Oriana surviving longer than Yvette, despite Yvette being bulky and Oriana a glass cannon. Sad. Talon continued his aimless adventure for self-betterment, challenging anyone who he deemed to be a worthy opponent. He made many enemies, and a quick ambush led to his body being dumped in the sea. More ludonarrative dissonance. Talon would never die, he's epic. Unable to convince Talon to return, Chalice became one of Arinde's most respected healers. she would be critical to Arinde's survival during the Crescent Civil War, saving many a rising in the ranks of Arinde's forces. Or he just dodge tanked, duh. Yeah, you're so right. His bloodlust not yet satiated for a billion hunted victims indiscriminately on the Crescent. Tales of a faceless killer soon spread, and many a bounty was placed, but none could find any trace of him. Yo, he dodge tanked. He dodge tanked. With one of the few crews that would accept them gone. Oh, yo, Eosif is non-binary? Epic. Eosif returned to the wild. They tried many a time to make peaceful contact with the humans. Their efforts succeeded, and they were known as the protector of the people. The second best! Wait, that's epic. Their title is the second best. For what was perhaps the first time in his life, Marlowe took his duties seriously. It was also for the last time, as he was killed in action, shielding Crimea against the Saltsworn. He regretted not being able to do more. Chicken hungers for more. Rohesia was the sole surviving member of her family. Left for dead at the gates of the workshop, she embarked on a bloody crusade against the Saltsworn and was a major factor in their eventual fall from power. The loss of her family proved to be too much for her, and her illness entered its final stage. A terrifying beast emerged from the workshop, laying waste to the Crescent and taking hundreds of lives before her in the inevitable fall. Rohesia is the goat once again. She's always the goat. Willie Whipjack! Whipjack was a survivor! He lived through the Green Tide, the Crescent Civil War, and the invasion of House Heron as a simple vagabond. To this day, he lives on the road, making himself seem a bigger deal than he is with little success. Celia took a few jobs here and there, but very few took her wild claims seriously. While some of her exploits added to her credibility, it also attracted attention from the sect, who had her burned for heresy! Ellery, former captain. Ellery returned to the mainland to exact her vengeance, inciting rebellion in the name of the late princess. This found some success, but ultimately she was outmatched by royalist forces and publicly beheaded. Rip my goat. Well, that was a short ROM hack, but honestly, pretty good. I can see why people like it so much. Kind of weird that you get like a 20-use rescue and a 10-use warp, like one chapter before the game ends. But yeah, I liked it. Rest in peace, my chief. Kind of a downer ending, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. That is how it goes sometimes. They really want you to use warp and rescue, no hoarding. I mean, I've been using rescue pretty aggressively. I have a kind of semi-hoarded warp, but it's mostly because I don't need it because I've got so many movement tools. But I have used rescue pretty aggressively.